The main event for UFC 200 is Mark Hunt versus Brock Lesnar.
The UFC organization was notified tonight that the U.S. Anti-Doping Agency has informed John Jones of a potential anti-doping policy violation stemming from an out-of-competition sample collection on June 16th, 2016. USADA, the independent administrator of the UFC anti-doping policy, will handle results management and appropriate adjudication of this case. It is important to note that under the UFC anti-doping policy, there's a full, fair, legal review process that is afforded to all athletes before any sanctions are imposed. However, because Jones was scheduled to compete against Daniel Cormier this coming Saturday, July 9th in Las Vegas, there's insufficient time for a full review before the scheduled bout, and therefore the fight has been removed from the fight card.
He's got the chance to prove himself innocent before being called guilty, but if it's true, obviously super disappointing. This is devastating to Daniel Cormier, you know, not only mentally and physically, just went through a camp, and financially. This pay-per-view is trending to be massive, so and he shares in that revenue. So it's devastating to him in every way it could possibly be. You know, maybe somebody wants to pop up and fight Cormier last minute. Stranger things have happened, so we'll see what happens. I would like for that to happen for Cormier, obviously. You know, listen, when you have the biggest, baddest fight card ever assembled, you know, it doesn't sting as bad when you lose a fight, but it stings real bad for Daniel Cormier. You know, this is devastating to him, his family, and I'd like to make a fight if I can.
In the event you can't find an opponent for Daniel Cormier, how would will he be compensated? Will he be paid something, or? Well,
normally what we do, you know, for the guys that don't make a lot of money and they go through a camp and they show up, you know, we compensate them. Cormier makes a lot of money. So, I don't know.
And just from your perspective, how does this change the next few days? I mean, the card is largely intact, but arguably the biggest fight is off promotional-wise. Does that change anything over the next few days?
No, it's Lesnar versus Hunt, you know? Like I said, you know, if a fight of this magnitude is going to fall off, at least it's during the biggest, baddest card we've ever assembled. So, I mean, when you look at this card, I mean, even the Fox prelims are ridiculous, you know? The Fight Pass prelims are ridiculous. It's an amazing card. So, I guess if it's going to happen, it's better that it happens here.
What's up, guys?
DC, can you explain your emotion when you heard the news?
Very disappointed. I've worked really hard to prepare for this, and you know, take care of what you can take care of, and that's what I did. You know, but more than anything, just really disappointed.
Can you compare this to the Olympics? Is this in any way similar to what happened to you in Beijing?
You know, disappointment's similar, but in Beijing it was my fault. You know, I'm the one that didn't manage my weight in the best way, but I did this time. You know, I've done everything right, and I've put myself in a position where I felt like I could win this fight. So to hear something like this it's very sad. From a competitive standpoint, from a financial standpoint, there are a number of ways in which this is disappointing, and I really don't know exactly how to explain how I'm feeling right now.
Dana said he doesn't really want to make a fight just to make a fight for you on Saturday, but if you had it your way, do you still want to compete? Do you still want to fight on this card, or how do you feel about it right now?
I've trained hard and long, you know, and if anybody would fight, you know, I would fight. I mean, why not, you know, but I understand the difficult task it would be to get someone to fight me on 2 days. Obviously, you know, I'm willing to fight up, put some weight, you know, 225, 220, I'll fight. It doesn't matter. I just can't really fight like a really big guy right now because I've been kind of shrinking my body in order to make 205. But, you know, if it doesn't make sense for the organization or for me, then it doesn't make sense. You know, we have always been in tune, me and the UFC, and we've made these decisions together, and I'm assuming that's what we'll do this time. But if the bosses say it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense, I won't do it. He looked like he was doing good, you know, for everything that he said. You know, he said all the right things. He had put a team in place to manage him on in all the areas of his life, not just inside of the octagon with his coaches, but he had a life crisis management coach. You know, his managers and friends have been closer to him. So it's very surprising. You know, man, sometimes I was very hard on him. But at the end of it, you know, if he was doing better, you know, who am I to be the moral police? You know, I've made a lot of mistakes. I've done some things in my life that are terrible. You know, I've been through a divorce, you know, because of things that I had done outside of my marriage. I'm not perfect. I've done a lot of negative things in my life, but I try to just improve on them as I move forward. So if everybody that's given me chances, you know, obviously he deserves a chance if he's going to do the right thing. So I'm not the moral police. I really don't care all that much to just judge him all the time. The last hour and a half has been very tough because I got a text from Dana and he said, hey, what are you doing? And I was like, nothing. I'm just laying down resting. Got to train at 8:45, try to lose some weight. And I asked him if it was about my shoes or something. And he was like, no, it's not about your shoes. Can you meet me at 8 o'clock? I get this very bad feeling in the pit of my stomach, you know, because as you guys know, I've dealt with a lot of negative in my life in terms of bad things happening. So I kind of got that feeling like this guy always gives me good news. You know, this guy calls you with a 7-figure check like, dude, you're rich now. You know, he calls you with good news. And the mood didn't feel very good. So it was scary. And so I came here. I was actually early. It's probably the first time I've been early for anything, but I needed to know. But he's usually the good news guy. And today he had to deliver some pretty bad news and was very good through it. You know, I appreciate the way that Dana handled it and the fact that you were actually there to console me and really kind of walk me through everything. Because in those moments, you know, a lot of times you really do need someone. And, you know, even if it's just a hug, you know, put your hand on a guy's back. Sometimes you need support, and that's what I've always got from the UFC.
Dana.
Joe Silva just texted me. What the fuck happened? Lorenzo, it's a group message between him and me. Lorenzo said, welcome to Las Vegas.
Dana,
What the fuck?